Got to decide if this is an arithmetic sequence. So we'll take the second term, subtract the first. Negative 4 minus the negative 1 is negative 4 plus 5. I said that wrong. Negative 4 minus the negative 5 is the same as negative 4 plus 5, which is 1. Then 1 minus a negative 4, same as 1 plus 4, that's 5. So we see that it does not have a common difference, so we'd say it's not, no, it is not an arithmetic sequence. It does not have a common difference. Here we'll take the second term, negative 2.2, subtract first term, negative 0.7, and we get negative 1.5. Next, we'll take negative 3.7 minus a negative 2.2. We get negative 1.5. And we'll do negative 5.2 minus negative 3.7, and we get negative 1.5. So we would say yes, and the common difference is negative 1.5. If you looked at it from left to right, you should be able to see that you just add negative 1.5 each time. Here it says to find the next three terms in the sequence. Well, before we do that, we've got to figure out, is it arithmetic or geometric? Those are the two types of sequences we've looked at. So if you try arithmetic, you take 12 minus 4, that's 8. 20 minus 12, that's 8. 28 minus 20, that is 8. So it is arithmetic, and the common difference is 8. So to find the next term, do 28 plus 8. And so we get 36 for our next term. Now do 36 plus 8. And you get 44. And then finally 44 plus 8. You get 52. So our next three terms are 36, 44, 52. Find the next three terms of this sequence. We'll take the second term, subtract the first. We get positive 3. If we take negative 19 minus a negative 22, we get positive 3. And negative 16 minus negative 19. Also positive 3. So this is an arithmetic sequence. We've got to keep on going with this. So we'll do negative 16 plus 3 and get negative 13. Negative 13 plus 3 is negative 10. Negative 10 plus 3 gives us negative 7. Here, it's not an arithmetic sequence because 1 minus 1/2 is 1/2, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So not arithmetic. Let's see if it's geometric. So if we do 1 divided by 1/2, we get 2. You can use a calculator if you need to. 2 divided by 1, you get 2. And 4 divided by 2, you get 2. So what this means is it's geometric, and the common ratio is 2. So to find the next terms, we're going to multiply by 2. 4 times 2 gives us 8. 8 times 2 gives us 16. 16 times 2 is 32. Same directions on this one. 3 minus a negative 1 is 4. And then negative 9 minus 3 is negative 12. So it's not arithmetic. Check geometric by dividing 3 divided by negative 1. We get negative 3. Do negative 9 divided by 3. You get negative 3. Do 27 divided by negative 9. You get negative 3. So it's a geometric sequence. To find the next term, we'll take 27 and multiply it by negative 3. That gives us negative 81. Then we'll do negative 81 times negative 3. We get positive 243. And do 243 times negative 3. We get negative 729. All right, here we have an equation for an arithmetic sequence. We want to find the 30th term, so we're going to set n equal to 30. So if a sub 30 equals 3 times 30 minus 5. So the 30th term is equal to 90 minus 5, which is 85. Determine if it's arithmetic, geometric, or neither. So arithmetic would be where we're adding the same number each time. To figure out what that number is, we'll subtract. So we get negative 8, but then when we do 18 minus negative 6, we get 24. So not arithmetic. Now let's check geometric. Do negative 6 divided by 2. Geometric is where we're multiplying by the same number each time. But to figure out what that number is, we can do division. And so what we're seeing here is that every time we divide a term by its previous term, we get negative 3. So we'd say this is geometric, and the common ratio is negative 3. Anytime the common ratio happens to be a negative, you'll see alternating signs in your sequence. We have a positive, then a negative, positive, then negative. Is this a geometric sequence? Well, we'll divide. Do second divided by the first. Get 1/3. Do 2 divided by 6, you get 1/3. Do 2/3 divided by 2, and you get 1/3. So we'd say yes, common ratio is 1/3. This is a geometric sequence. All right. Here we've got average cycling speed and the time in minutes. What you'll notice is as you go left to right, the speed decreases. So what this has a negative correlation. If we did a line of fit, it would be somewhere in here, about the same number of points above and below. So this line of fit has a negative slope, so this data has a negative correlation. So negative correlation we could describe it as time passes or as time increases, average speed decreases. If it were positive correlation, we would see as one increases, the other also increases. Next, we want to simplify. When you multiply the same base, you add exponents. So we're adding 8 plus 3, and that gives us 11. So we'd say x to the 11th. Dividing with the same base, subtract exponents. 8's bigger, so 8 minus 3 is 5. X to the 5th will go on the bottom. You need a placeholder of 1 on the top. When you multiply with the same base, add exponents. When you divide with the same base, subtract exponents. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Check out my website for more.